into the ring, the bell's about to chime. Turnbuckle Talk, we're here to shine. Flagship of the airwaves, leading the pack. Breaking news, reviews, we've got your back. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring stories that you can't refuse. Turnbuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat. From AEW to WWE, we cover it all from A to Z. Interviews, insights, and match reviews. If it's wrestling news, we've got the clues. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring the stories that you can't refuse. Turnbuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat.
And tonight, we have a lot of slams, suplexes, and insights into a number of different stories for this week of Turnbuckle Talk, episode number 447. Apparently, the vignettes have spoken. I am Carl Carafel. I'm joined alongside Chris Best and the OM Dynamic. Guys, we got a lot to cover tonight, but first off, thank you for joining me here for this episode where we can talk, discuss, and get some of our thoughts put out there for things. A quick programming note for the chat this evening. You will see that it may look a little bit different because StreamYard, thank you to StreamYard, they have updated how they are able to do chats for us. So your chats will appear on screen now with a little bit of a larger font and in a little bit of a different style that I have chosen. So thank you, StreamYard, for your continued growth and for us being able to use this program in the way that we do. Gentlemen, I want to start off with an article that dates back a little bit. It dates back to 2024 to begin with, but we have received a little bit more of an update, per se, on the situation that happened. Most of you may have heard already, but if you have not, we're going to bring it to you. The Fairmont Hotel accused Chelsea Green of being an escort, and with that removed her from the hotel before she could even sit down to have a drink. Do you guys remember this back in 2024? I'll be honest, I don't.
I remember this on the big screen back in 1990, and it was a movie called Pretty Woman.
Right, but we're talking about Chelsea Green and the events of 2024 now.
Yeah,
I do vaguely recall it when it happened at the time, but it was never one of those situations that got blown out of proportion. It was, seemingly just a misunderstanding. And, to that point, we thought it had all been resolved.
Right. Now, this was at a Fairmont hotel. She was celebrating the WrestleMania 40 week and decided that she was going to have a drink at the hotel or the Plaza's bar in New York.
Yeah, more specifically, it was the Plaza Hotel owned by Fairmont.
Right.
Jesus, I'm flabbergasted at this situation myself because I've never seen Chelsea or any women being treated like that. It sickens me to a degree.
I don't have any type of confirmation as to how she was presented going into the hotel. So it may have looked that way. We are talking New York, where, there's a number of street performers, let's say, that are out there, that are walking the streets and that maybe do make their way into the hotel for whatever reason to go in, use the facilities, go to the bar, meet up with someone, what have you. I don't know what she was wearing, though, to make them think or assume that she was that type of a person. We do know that they did offer her a free 2-night stay at her choice of hotel within the chain anywhere in the world. She decided to take one for her hometown in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And with that, she was given 2 free nights. RBV, I love you, brother. Thank you. He's coming in saying late night tacos, NXT, and Turnbuckle Talk. A good night, but I'm sure not as good of a night with a trick turning Chelsea Green. Oh, you always have the right words, brother. I love you. I'll continue then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yep. So 2-night free stay anywhere. She decided to take Vancouver, British Columbia. Unfortunately, that was kind of rescinded, I guess. They rescinded their offer to make good of them accusing her of being an escort, quoting and saying that, well, you were given, yes, 2 nights free stay, but it only had a year on it and you didn't use it within the year. So sorry, you get nothing. Really?
Yeah, this is horrible business practice. I don't know why that wouldn't have been communicated initially when they offered her that free 2-night stay. But this should have been absolutely honored. Regardless, when you tell her anywhere in the world, yes, she chose her hometown.
Right.
But why wasn't it, communicated clearly? I think this is poor business on the Fairmont. I think that, and I don't blame Chelsea Green for being upset and maybe not wanting to stay there again.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely has said that her presidential tour, as she calls her run in the WWE right now, will not be making a stop at the Fairmont Hotel chain of places.
I would like to clarify something because we're already making a mistake on this report here. She was forced into booking at the Vancouver Fairmont hotels. She didn't want to do that. She wanted to switch locations because she was like, well, why would I want to book at this hotel in Vancouver when I live there?
Okay. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And thank you. I believe I had probably said that it was chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Not using the right words in that respect. So
yeah. I don't get that either. I don't get, like, why would you want to book a hotel in your own city? I mean, granted, I've booked hotels in my own city, but for reasons that were out of my control that I've had to do it.
Right.
This doesn't make any sense to me though, because we all know she's a woman who travels a lot because of obviously what she does.
Yeah.
So she should be able to pick where she wants to stay regardless and use that as her vacation time maybe, or something like that. That's just my opinion on that. But yeah, it is poor business practice to not allow where you can stay, because I've seen instances where people have given out these hotel stays with their company at a city of their choosing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's weird that they would say, like, oh, we'll give you a 2-night stay anywhere in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but then force her into booking in her hometown.
Yeah. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. 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 Makes no sense to me either. I don't believe that Chelsea Green is going to let up on this at all. I think we're going to see her continue to push for her free stay.
Yeah, I was going to say, she doesn't come across to me as a woman that would let this just go to the wayside, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I even wonder at times what Matt Cardona thinks. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
I trust me, I've been looking for Matt Cardona's quote on this. I haven't heard anything.
Me either. I haven't heard or seen anything at all from Matt Cardona on this issue. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can count me in on that either. I haven't seen or heard anything. But again, like, this is just poor business practice on the part of the Fairmont.
Right.
If I'm WWE, I stand behind Chelsea and I don't book my talent to stay there when they're in town for a show.
See, that would be a great idea as well. Large conglomerate, you know, kind of going up against another conglomerate and making a stand and saying, hey, if you want to treat our employees this way, we're not going to do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Yeah. Something that confuses me a little bit and maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me is a continuation of trying to make things bigger than they are, I guess. What I'm talking about right now is, well, we have a couple of updates for some PLEs.
Mm-hmm.
The first update that we have for it is that New Orleans is going to be hosting Money in the Bank. Now, this we all kind of already knew, but some people didn't. I've been talking to some people and they were like, oh, no, I didn't know that it was going there. So September 6th, 2026 is when we're going to be getting Money in the Bank in New Orleans. Good for them. I think it's absolutely fantastic. New Orleans seems to be a hotbed for PLEs. So, yeah, why not? Why not?
Let's not forget, with this, Money in the Bank going to New Orleans was to replace WrestleMania, which was supposed to go to New Orleans next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made the switch to go to Vegas with the promise of a WrestleMania down the road again for New Orleans. So this is the fill-in.
Okay. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like the fact too that they're moving this pay-per-view to September because it moves it away from King of the Ring.
Yes.
I like the fact that we now have something in between SummerSlam and Survivor Series where we can see a possible contender for the title in that time frame. Because we get that between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, with the Royal Rumble, of course. Now we've got in the summertime King of the Ring. Now we've got in the fall Money in the Bank. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I agree. It's a good move, I think. If you are wanting more information on Money in the Bank happening in New Orleans, you can check out On Location's website, onlocationexp.com/MITB. The big update that we have now, please keep in mind that this is still purely speculative and that these are rumblings that are happening. And this is where I come to does everything need to be as big as they're kind of making it out to be?
Mm-hmm.
There are reports that the WWE is looking to make a blockbuster week out of Elimination Chamber, out of that weekend that's going to be happening in Chicago. I believe it is. I understand where they're coming from. You do have another company that is, I guess you could say, the number 2 right now in AEW. And they're trying to make sure that there is not going to be that competition by booking all of these events as quickly as they can and making a larger spectacle out of it in the hopes that AEW will not try to run events at the same time.
Right. Yeah, in the article, there is speculation that it could move ahead a week from where it is tentatively booked now, or even back a week to potentially offer counter programming. They are looking at, of course, SmackDown, NXT, Elimination Chamber, and Raw, all within that weekend.
Right.
And I'd love to see it. But at the same time, we saw them try to do that, and then they were forced to move NXT out of the city there just a couple of months ago due to poor ticket sales.
Okay.
I believe that city was St. Louis. And it's because you're trying to bundle everything. Now, we've seen good, solid weekends. I can speak to this past year when I went to the Elimination Chamber, although my flight got canceled, so I missed SmackDown on the Friday.
Right.
But you had the year before when Money in the Bank was in Toronto as well, and you had SmackDown, you had NXT, you had Money in the Bank.
True.
I don't think you need to take over one city. I think if you were to do the area, so you cover a small area in that Midwest. So
right.
You can go to Chicago, you can shift over to Detroit, shift over to Ohio, and you're concentrating on that area for that weekend.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Quickly, Josh, thank you so much for coming in, my friend. I appreciate you. We are live right now if you are still in here. Looking forward to the listen tonight, he says. Great to have you here. I really appreciate that. Elimination Chamber now is looking at, as OM Dynamic said, doing multiple events. Those events even include NXT and possibly even AAA to make even more of a spectacle out of things. I don't think it's needed, though. Right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think it's needed.
I 100% agree with you because I feel like it takes away from what's going to happen a month later in WrestleMania. That entire week is just, I mean, you guys know it from when we do Turnbuckle Talk and everything else with the Turnbuckle affiliation program. That's our busiest week out of the year. And, and it's just, it does take away, to me, it takes away from that spectacle. Now, if you want to continue doing these big weekends, save them for the Big Four. Save them for the Royal Rumble. Save them for Mania. Save them for SummerSlam and Survivor Series.
Yes.
We don't need Elimination Chamber to have a whole week's worth of events. We don't need even the Saudi shows. You can do a whole week's of events there if you really wanted to, because that's
right.
kind of special as well. But we don't need this every month, because again, it takes away from how special those Big Four shows are.
No.
It's okay. So it's not even as though, like, when they go to Saudi or when they go to, France, or they go to Australia or anything like that, that really it's that much of a bigger spectacle of anything. It's just that's the area they're in to be able to do these shows.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. With the WWE running a PLE in the United States of America means that you have the ability to travel to that area that you're going to, like OM Dynamic was talking about.
Yeah.
You don't need to have everything in the exact same city. You can have them in different areas. You can have an NXT in one city. You can then go and do your SmackDown in another. Then you can have the PLE, and then you can have Raw from a different area, but all still relatively close to each other. Make it 4-hour, 6-hour drive is not going to be anything unrealistic like it would be trying to do SmackDown and NXT pay-per-view in the United States and then having to travel to Australia
Yeah.
or to Saudi
Right.
to do a PLE.
Right.
Right. And I look at the area, and I'm going to probably make a bit of an unfair generalization here. But when you look at, you brought up AAA being there, and I forgot about that. But you look at the Hispanic communities in California, Nevada, Texas, which is where a AAA show would go over. I don't see it going over quite as big in Illinois. You don't need a SmackDown followed by a Worlds Collide, or NXT followed by a Worlds Collide.
But let me just curb you there a little bit, OMD. I mean, the rumor is Chicago, for one thing. Chicago is a massive hotbed for professional wrestling. It doesn't matter which company you're in, they're going to sell tickets.
Right, which was why I said it's probably a bit of an unfair generalization.
Mm-hmm. But I want to go back to, like, Carl, what you were saying, and OMD, what you were saying about the traveling. I remember back in 04 and in 06 when you and I, Carl, went to SummerSlam, and I went to Unforgiven in 06. I
Right.
believe the SmackDown was in, like, Detroit, Michigan, or Buffalo, New York that week. The
Yeah, I believe so.
the following the Raw following SummerSlam was just in London, Ontario, which is like a 4 or 5 hour drive from Toronto.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean,
in 06, when I went to Unforgiven, Raw was in Ottawa the following night.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt that you can travel.
You look at even this past year, the Elimination Chamber, yes, SmackDown and Chamber were in Toronto. Raw was in Buffalo, which is an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to look at it, Carl, Ohio, you can do Raw in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Do SmackDown in Cleveland. Do the PLE in Columbus.
Yeah. Right. All places that we've kind of traveled through into.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's easy enough to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all within the same state. And I mean, I can understand. All right. Like, Ontario is huge.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Ontario is the biggest province that we've got. Right.
Yeah.
To go from, like, let's say we do a Raw in, Thunder Bay, and then we make a stop, for a PLE that's going to happen, or not a SmackDown, let's say a SmackDown. Right. And then you go to try to go to Ottawa or even Toronto. Like, that's almost 24 hours of, like, travel and stop for something to eat and, go again. It's absolutely insane and not feasible.
Right.
Right. Mr. Parrish is coming in saying sometimes shows in Edmonton will have at Calgary the next day. I believe it was like that for Backlash in 04, and then the Canadian Stampede in Calgary and Edmonton for Raw, and it's a 3-hour drive. It works. It is simple enough to do so. We don't need everything all in the exact same city. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
I'm with you. Yes, you've got different venues in that city for those different crowds and that different feel, but you don't need the same city because 95% of them are going to be the same fans.
Yeah. Yeah. Closing thoughts on that. There's no need.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, if I was a fan and I saw one of those weeks and it was near me, if I had the money, I would go. That's my closing thought on that, really, at the same time.
I'd be with you. I'm in the same boat. But at the same time, there's that part of us that wants to get out and travel and follow the WWE on tour so that we can do those touristy things in different cities as well before the show.
I'm just going to say that sometimes people aren't able to afford the travel, and that if it is in their city, it is a lot more affordable for them to be able to do one event as opposed to several events. Mr. Parrish is saying, I will also say getting to do the Royal Rumble and SmackDown both in the same city was absolutely phenomenal. You get to be a part of two different types of energy, and it is such a great experience. Now, if they are offering all of these events for one price, then people can, do what they need to do to save, to afford, to do what they need to do for that. But if they're not able to get tickets for both events that are happening in the same city, maybe they're only able to afford one, especially with the inflated prices the WWE is giving us right now.
Right.
We may, only be able to afford one. So I don't know. For some, yeah, it's easy. It's easy enough for them. For others, they might actually enjoy having, something in Calgary. And then if they live in Edmonton, they're able to do that. Right. Yeah. Affordability is an amazing thing. And we want to keep things affordable for each and every one of you. Well, that's why we have our Redbubble shop that gives you good quality, absolutely amazing Turnbuckle Studios merchandise. Well, here, just take a look.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
Or an easier way for you to do so is just to go to our website, or to maybe click on the QR code that's on your screen right now. Go into the website, turnbucklestudios.org/shop will take you right to the products that we have available, where you can just simply click on the product that you want to purchase, and it'll take you directly to that place inside the store where you can make your purchases. Every purchase does give a little bit back to us, and we continue to put that back into the programming that we give to each and every one of you on a weekly basis. I'm just going to say this right now. I love that the comments are still here, right? I clicked off of the comments and then we clicked back in. I like that they're still there for us when we're getting good comments come in. Love being able to see that. And I love a feel-good story as well. And I think our next story, hopefully, will have some feel-good ramifications coming out of it. There is a pro wrestler known as the King of Hardcore, the King of Deathmatch, not Hardcore, the King of Deathmatch. And that man is Nick Gage. Now, Nick Gage has battled many demons in his life, has battled many demons within his career, and has decided to take some time away to rehab.
This is absolutely huge. I am so proud of Nick Gage. We know that he does have a history and a past before discovering pro wrestling. And it sort of followed him and really haunted him and somewhat overshadowed his career. So the fact that he is now trying to get himself right, and you can't necessarily beat these demons, but you can control them. And I am proud of him, and the fact that he is trying to do this and start doing right and maybe be a better man, not just in the ring, but out of the ring. Good for him.
I like the way you put that. Can't always defeat, but you can control. Very well put. Mr. Best, how do you feel about this?
This actually hits really close to home for me. So I'm very, very proud of Nick Gage. Excuse me. I'm very, very proud of Nick Gage for taking that step to do that, because that hits hard when you have to take that step to realize that I need to get my stuff together. And I got nothing but pride for him right now. I will admit, though, when I first read this article, I did confuse him for another GCW wrestler, Zandig.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
I don't know why, but then when I look, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I remember Nick Gage now. I'm just beaming with pride, just knowing that he's going to get better. That's really all I can say right now, because as OMD had said, you can't beat your demons, but you can learn to control them, and I don't want to say live with them, because that's not even the word either.
Yeah. We do have a confirmation that yes, this is legitimate, that he is entered into a treatment program. That was confirmed by GCW owner Brett Lauderdale. He actually came out to give a little bit of a statement saying, I'm not going to delve too deep into this, but I want everyone to know that he will not be attending any shows for the foreseeable future. He is in treatment and at that time had been for several weeks already.
Mm-hmm.
He did also let any other performer or promoters, he ensured the promoters that have booked him that they will be compensated for this right now. A lot of the different promoters will kind of send a little bit of, an advancement. Here you go. You're booked type of thing, right? So any promoter that has done that, they will be getting things made whole for them. And that's straight from Brett Lauderdale as well. So anyone that made deposits is going to be getting those back essentially, or we'll talk with the promoter, and when he is better and out, then they can discuss things a little bit further as well.
Right. I was going to say, yeah, a future date would be, for myself, if I was promoting, a future date would be just as good or just as beneficial for me, because you've got to remember that these people are human.
Yeah.
This is, yes, it's a business, but it's also a human business. And so you've got to do what's best for everybody. So, you know what? Maybe that money is going into their treatment. If they can give me a future date, I'll take that.
Yeah. Very, very understandable. I'm sure we're going to be hearing from Nick Gage at some point when he is darn good and ready to be able to make a statement on this. And I'm hoping that that statement is, I am good, I am well, and I am back. That would be the ultimate for us, I think. My career was hardcore, so I kind of gravitate a little bit towards those that do perform in such a way. Matt Cardono, Shotzi Blackheart, these performers that are out there that can wrestle. Nick can wrestle.
Oh yeah,
but he more prefers the hardcore style. It just makes it really, really good.
I'm just going to put this out there, but if it weren't for Nick Gage, I would never have discovered GCW. He was one of the first wrestlers I remember watching.
Right.
And I'm not much of a hardcore wrestling fan, but I will tune in and check out GCW when I've got that hardcore need in me,
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Shiv, probably one of the biggest GCW fans.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen him posting from a GCW show.
Right.
Yep.
Right. You got the mix of hardcore, you got the mix of classic style wrestling, and right now we talk about a mix of the two in two different performers who are undergoing some unfortunate and serious health issues as of right now. We were talking about first Abdullah the Butcher, who, according to TMZ, has been hospitalized with serious health issues. He has been dealing a lot of health issues already in the past. There are other places that Book Pro Wrestlers is another one that has been, kind of on top of this as well. Steve Stasiak from Book Pro Wrestlers. And honestly, we were given all of our positiveness for those of us that do, our prayers, our thoughts, strength in any way that we possibly can to hope that Abdullah can come through and be better, to be able to continue to go to these conventions, tell stories, and sign some autographs. How do you guys feel about Abdullah being in the hospital?
This is, very, very, I don't want to say tragic because I don't think that's the right word, but again, this is something that he has battled off and on. We've been hearing these reports for a number of years.
Yeah.
And he's in and out, and whether it's his diabetes, his weight, I know he's worked with DDP and DDPY.
Yes.
So we know he is trying to take the right steps. It's just a matter of really everything coming together. And unfortunately, I think this is just one of those things where the past is now really catching up to him.
I agree. I agree. Abdullah was one of those that that would color or that would bleed quite often.
I mean,
so that's why I mix, kind of mentioned that hardcore style. That was Abdullah.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at his image right there on the screen there, you can see the scars on his head.
Yeah.
I just like John Moxley, I can't think of a time where I haven't watched a Abdullah match where he didn't bleed or pull out some kind of a weapon.
Right. Right. It seemed to always have been there.
But the thing with Abdullah was he knew when to do it. He knew he was telling a story in the ring, so he knew when that weapon needed to come out or when he needed to bleed.
Yeah.
True. True. He was very cognizant of that. Yes.
But Abdullah, he's not without his controversies. We won't get into that, but at the same time, all the best to you, my man. All the best. We hope to see you alive and kicking for another 10 years, we'll say.
While Abdullah the Butcher may have used weapons within his match, Erwin R. Shyster used a weapon of his own, not just a microphone, but a briefcase as well, as he used to carry around a briefcase playing the character of IRS. This one hurts a little bit as well, as we're hearing from Barry Windham to why can't I think of his name right now? Bill Apter.
Yeah.
They were having a discussion, a conversation. They were doing, a collaborative thing together. And Barry Windham has let us know that his former tag team partner and brother-in-law, Mike Rotunda, is in hospice at this time. We know Mike Rotunda as Erwin R. Shyster. This generation may know Mike Rotunda as the father of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy. At this point, this kind of gives us a reason as to why Uncle Howdy maybe has not been as prevalent on our screens. There was a big push for Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six, and then it kind of tapered and died off for a little bit. And this would be absolute reason why, I would figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another situation for me that hits very, very, very close to home. IRS Mike Rotunda, one of the most underrated but prolific careers in pro wrestling. My first experience with him was as IRS, but I've done some deep diving into his background and watched matches all the way back from when he was the US Express with Barry Windham. And
Yeah.
then when he came over to WCW in the 80s and formed the Varsity Club with Kevin Sullivan and Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
And just a fantastic performer. Knew how to get heat like you wouldn't believe when he became IRS.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. The
Yep.
heat he used to get, he would say one word and everybody's booing.
Yeah.
Yep. We look back at the generation we started with, the Hulk Hogans, the Rick Rudes, the Roddy Pipers, the Macho Man, and on and on. Mr. Perfect, JYD, and now this. And I know that you have to wonder if some of that lifestyle and that style of wrestling back then has really caught up. Because we know they didn't have like the concussion protocols and CTE, and maybe not everybody lived the lifestyle that was portrayed in the movie The Wrestler. And I don't believe Mike Rotunda did. But you have to wonder if some of that has caught up. I still remember perhaps my favorite IRS match of all time was actually a Money Inc. match on WWF Superstars on Saturday morning, and it was Money Inc. versus the Natural Disasters, with Money Inc. winning the tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
And then to see him go and become VK Wall Street in WCW.
Yep.
And now this, I mean, we just lost Bray, and it feels like it's surreal now to think that, like you got to wonder what Taylor and Micah Rotunda are going through and how they are feeling. And my prayers, my sympathies to them.
Very much so. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. When someone is in hospice, it means it's usually pretty close to end of life.
And the sad thing is, it could be days until we finally see the news when he passes.
Yeah.
No idea when, but we do know that this is happening right now. So if you can send your positivity, send your prayers, send everything that you can to the family that are going through such a difficult time right now. We're always looking for amazing stories and for amazing people within Turnbuckle Studios to become part of the Turnbuckle affiliation program. Yeah, maybe that's you.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, videos games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
And you can tap it just like you tap that screen on your phone by clicking that QR code up at the top there, or go to turnbucklestudios.org/join. Click the bottom link, fill out a little bit of paperwork just to give us an idea of who you are, what you're looking for, and then we will get back to you. So we come to a couple of articles that are going to be a little bit different. We're going to drop one because we're running very, very short on time. We only have about 12 minutes left. So we're not going to talk about Real American Freestyle right now. Let's wait and see what happens with that. But what I will say is that Real American Freestyle is very, very close to having a TV deal. And when that happens, we will be talking about it. The one that I do want to talk about, though, is Big E. Now, there's been many speculations on Big E and whether he is, completely finished with the WWE and with his wrestling career. Well, he is not finished with the WWE themselves. But his wrestling career pretty much, he says, is over. He is quoted as saying, "My career is kind of behind me. I'm someone who is appreciative. I think I had a really good career and I'm proud of it." After having issues, after, I think it was a belly to belly that damaged some C4 and C6, I think, vertebrae, or C3 and C6, something like that, vertebrae in his neck and spine. He had to kind of just call it a day, unfortunately. But as he says, he's appreciative. He's had a really good career, from winning the King of the Ring tournament to having the Intercontinental Championship to having multiple tag team championships. Big E, thank you, brother. You don't need to give us any more.
No.
Yeah, let's not forget the big one when he won the WWE title.
Yeah.
I mean, bravo on your career. That's really what I could say, is he's built himself a Hall of Fame career. Him, Kofi, and Xavier, guaranteed Hall of Famers.
Absolutely, they are. And, I'm really glad to see this because we have heard about it. Is he going to be cleared? Isn't he? We saw the show when the New Day kicked him out on TV saying, "Oh, you went corporate." He's doing what was best, not just for himself, but for the company as a whole, still working as an ambassador, still working with Titus O'Neil and the O'Neil Foundation. So kudos, Big E. Thank you. And I don't think that, we've seen so many of these guys come back from these types of injuries. The fact that Big E just wants to focus on the future, good on him.
And I did get the correct placements of things. So it was a belly-to-belly suplex gone wrong, and it was a fracturing of his C1 and C6 vertebrae that has kept him out of the ring. If you want to hear more or know more about this, check out the WWE YouTube channel and check out the show, What's Your Story with Steph McMahon. That is where all of this information is coming from. And he did have a sit-down interview with Stephanie McMahon. And this is some of the stuff that he brought out, was this quote, talking about some mental health issues and just talking about other things within his career. So, Biggie, thanks, brother. We appreciate you. And we're happy that you're still with the company in some way, shape, or fashion. There is so much that happens here within Turnbuckle Studios as well that sometimes it's really hard to articulate properly. So, this is the best way for us to do it.
Yeah.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And with about 9 minutes left in this show, we are going to talk about, our show stopper segment. The vignettes have spoken. Guys, I am a little ticked off at this, to be honest with you. We saw some vignettes happening over the last few days. The one in the center that you see on the screen of shoes, legs, boots, walking. The next one over with the hands and the Hall of Fame ring, and then a poker chip closest to us with the year 2026 on it. All ended up being just a promotion for WrestleMania in Vegas. What grinds my gears about this is that I think it was done too quickly. Guys, what do you think?
I agree, because these were vignettes that got the world talking, and you could have spread it out over like a 2-week span, 2-3 week span, I would say, and then done the reveal for WrestleMania. I would have actually done this to reveal the travel packages for WrestleMania whenever those come out.
Right.
I would have done this ad for that. But I
You
got
could have added a lot more. You could have added like a plane. You could have added like the same feats, right? Walking up steps to go to a private jet or something like that, right?
Exactly. The production brain in me went wild when I saw the final product, and I'm like, this is what I would have done. And everything you said there, Carl, is exactly what I had in my head. From the plane landing to the footsteps, everything. But it did get us speculating, and that's what I wanted to touch on with this thing. These mysterious vignettes, keep them up, WWE, but space them out and give us that time to talk. Make people tune into your shows so that they can see what are these vignettes for, even if it is just for a PLE or even if it's for your shop or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. What I would have done. Oh, sorry, Mr. Best.
It may have been disappointing, but it still got people hooked.
It did, and we saw this really come out over a span of 3 days with a couple of extras added last night on Raw. What I would have done is just done these over the next 6 weeks. I don't want to drag it out, much like the QR code for the Wyatt 6 or Bray Wyatt's return even a few years ago. But over the next 6 weeks, I know we had heard a lot of speculation as to who it might be, what it might be for. Even after we got off the air last night, I thought to myself, wait a minute. You've got drinks, you've got a table, you've got that head. What if it's a new head of the table?
Right?
But it winds up being this. And I mean, I'll give them this. For the majority of it, it's Paul Heyman guys.
True.
On this. So do we get this new Heyman guys stable exiting the Vision?
Oh, maybe a double entendre in the whole WrestleMania theme.
Yeah.
I mean, it is possible. I mean, to be honest, I found it unusual that Brock Lesnar did an advertisement with the WWE. Brock
Right?
Lesnar's not known for doing these kinds of things.
Nope. I did watch the commercial that is out there and available on WWE's YouTube platform and on their socials. And Brock just looks like he wants to kill somebody. So I don't know if he was unhappy with doing this as part of his contract or what. But I do wish that it really would have continued a little bit longer. I think the WWE really needs to take this. They started doing all of this and putting it out onto their social platforms. They put it out onto X. They put it onto Instagram. They put it out onto Facebook. And they need to take a look at those numbers and go, how many people were engaged, and look at the comments and go, wow, look at all of these people that are speculating as to what this is. Let's continue that momentum and have them speculate a little bit more to be able to then reveal something like this Mania in Vegas. Which
is probably
we
sorry, say that again, Carl.
knew that already, didn't we? We knew that it was going to Vegas again, didn't we?
And that's where I was going to lead to next. I mean, maybe for WrestleMania in 2027, you do something kind of similar. lead us up to the because at WrestleMania they always reveal where they're going to be next year.
Right.
Do those teases leading up to that. Like spend 3-4 weeks throwing out these teasers, and then on WrestleMania we'll say night 2, WrestleMania night 2, you reveal where next year's Mania is going to be.
Yes.
By taking all of the footage and piecing it all back together again in larger format. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
oh, you're going to focus on the feet, but then you're going to pull back and reveal who that person is on each one. And then the hand, you're going to reveal that that's Paul Heyman. And then the chip is going to spin and whatever, and it's going to lay flat. And then it's going to pull back and reveal WrestleMania. See, they should have done all of this last WrestleMania, like to lead up, like you're saying, Mr. Best, to reveal WrestleMania returns to Vegas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it should have been. I'm just kind of a little upset that it isn't Chris Jericho yet, but I already know that Chris Jericho still has contract until December of 2025 with AEW. So my speculations are kind of out the window, but that's what I would have rathered. That's what I would have rathered.
That's what I was hoping for too, Carl. Because like I mentioned last night on the Raw Patrol, Chris Jericho with his vignettes were always mysterious and out and just out of left field a little bit, not really conducive to the character he would be portraying coming in, except for maybe the Countdown to Millennium one when he came back as Y2J or came into WWE as Y2J.
Yeah. I mean, we'd heard the speculation. I know we had said Gunther. I've heard potentially Andrade.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Jericho, Santos Escobar had been thrown in there.
Yeah.
And
I mean, just looking at the feats, like some of those names, definitely you could have thrown in there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're liking what you see from OM Dynamic, if you're liking what you see from Mr. Chris Best, OM Dynamic and Chris Best, they both do some gaming content. They do some Boar's Nest content. They do some PLE watch parties. They do the Raw. They do SmackDown. They're on this show. They are all over the place, my people. If you want to learn a little bit more about them, click that QR code on your screen right now or go to turnbucklestudios.org/hosts. Click on the picture of the person you want to find out a little bit more about, and it'll take you directly to their socials and where you can find them on the internet. Once again, that is turnbucklestudios.org/hosts, or just simply check out turnbucklestudios.org. That will give you everything you need when it comes to Turnbuckle Studios and even the Turnbuckle affiliation program. We do have a list of each show that is available. If you click on episodes, you can click on the show that you want to watch, and it'll take you directly to the place on the internet designed for that show. Mr. Best, Mr. Dynamic, I want to thank you both for being here, for putting up with all of my shenanigans that I go through. And it's a lot sometimes. I get it. You guys are a pivotal part of this community, and I want to say thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to be here and to do this and everything that we can get involved with the Turnbuckle affiliation program and Turnbuckle Studios.
And with that, everyone, remember, the world's a scary place. Take care of each other.
Flagship show setting the tone. In the world of wrestling we stand alone. With news and reviews we lead the way. Turnbuckle Talk every day. Turnbuckle Talk every day.